What if I told you that right now, God is speaking directly to you, declaring that you're not just lucky or talented, but chosen to be the next billionaire? Not someday, not maybe, but destined for greatness beyond your wildest dreams. If you've ever felt like giving up or wondered why success seems just out of reach, this message is for you. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why your breakthrough is already on the way and how to step fully into your God-given destiny. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone who needs to hear this powerful truth today. Your future self will thank you for it. Have you ever sat alone in a room full of silence and felt like someone was trying to speak to you? Not with words, not even with thoughts, but with a pull, a knowing, a deep, almost unshakable voice from within that said, "You were never meant to live an average life." That wasn't your imagination. That was divine. That was the whisper of God telling you, you're the one. And not just for success, not just for recognition, but for an inheritance so big, the world hasn't yet prepared a space for it. You see, God doesn't place billion-dollar ideas in the minds of those too small to carry them. He puts them inside the misfits, the outcasts, the ones who've been overlooked, laughed at, doubted, even by their own families, the chosen ones. And if you're listening to this right now, it's not by accident. This is your confirmation. This isn't about ego. It's about alignment. It's about realizing that what you've gone through wasn't random. It was training. Every door that slammed in your face, every betrayal that broke your heart, every sleepless night you spent wondering if you were losing your mind. All of it was chiseling you into someone who could carry massive wealth with wisdom, with grace, and with power. God said, "You're the next billionaire, not because you craved money, but because you craved purpose. Because you looked around and saw how the world was crumbling under the weight of greed and fear. And somewhere inside you, you said, if I had the means, I would change all of this." God heard you, and He believed you. That's why you've been tested in the dark while others were celebrated in the spotlight. That's why you were buried, so He could build you. But here's the twist. This calling doesn't come with ease. It comes with isolation, with invisible battles, with seasons where you feel like a failure while others flex false success. Yet, even in those moments, something kept you alive. A fire, a vision, a stubborn faith. That wasn't weakness, that was proof. Proof that something bigger is shaping you, that your name has been marked in heaven for a destiny that defies logic. You're not hustling just for riches. You're building a legacy that will ripple through generations. And the world isn't ready for you, but heaven already made room. The time is coming when everything will shift. And you won't need to chase the money, because the money will chase the mission. And the mission is you. Becoming a billionaire in the physical starts with surrender in the spiritual. God doesn't hand over empires to people who think like everyone else. He rewires your mind long before He fills your hands. That's why you've been through mental warfare that no one else sees. You've questioned your own sanity, battled voices that told you to quit, and endured silence from people you thought would cheer for you. That wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Because billionaires don't come from comfort. They come from fire. And you've been in that fire for years, haven't you? You've built ideas in your head when you had nothing in your bank account. You've encouraged others while your own life was falling apart. And still, you kept dreaming. Still, you kept building in the dark, even when no one clapped. That's billionaire energy. Quiet, humble, dangerous. God is obsessed with potential. And when he saw yours, he didn't hesitate. He assigned angels to protect your name, even when you didn't know you needed protection. Every delay, divine. Every closed door, redirection. Every no you heard was heaven's way of saying, wait, I've got something better. The reason you haven't fit in, the reason you've always felt a little out of place, even in rooms full of people, is because you weren't designed to blend in. You were born to build, to create, to disrupt. And disruption takes time. It requires patience and obedience, especially when it looks like nothing is happening. But oh, behind the scenes, God has been moving mountains with your name written on them. There are rooms your feet haven't entered yet, but your spirit already has. There are people discussing your future right now without even knowing your name, but soon they will. You're not crazy for believing in the impossible. You're chosen. And being chosen comes with cost. You've had to sacrifice your peace at times. You've walked away from relationships, jobs, even habits that once comforted you. Because deep down, something kept whispering, this isn't where it ends. And you listened, even when it broke you. That obedience didn't go unnoticed. Heaven saw it. And now, the shift is coming. The mind you've been training, the spirit you've been strengthening, the wisdom you've been collecting. It's all about to collide with opportunity. And when it does, no one will be able to deny the favor on your life. Because God doesn't raise billionaires to flex. He raises them to fund change, to elevate lives, to build things that outlast them. That's your purpose. You're not in the race with everyone else. You're on your own divine timeline. And soon, the world will look at you and ask, how did they do it? But they'll never understand what it cost you. That's because this wasn't built in a boardroom. It was built in prayer, in tears, in long nights, in lonely seasons. But look at you. You're still here. And that means the calling still stands. The crown is still yours. And the next phase, it's wealth. Not just in money, but in impact, in influence, in destiny. God said, you're the next billionaire, and you better believe he meant it. They'll think it happened overnight. They always do. When the spotlight hits you, when the world finally hears your name and sees your face on covers and stages, they'll call it luck. But God knows the truth. He saw the nights you stayed awake talking to him instead of sleeping. The mornings you showed up with a broken heart but still moved like someone who believed. See, most people only applaud the breakthrough, but God was watching you during the breakdown. That's where the blueprint was written. In your lowest moments, heaven was drafting the blueprint for your highest success. You weren't just struggling, you were being trained. Every loss, every failure, every betrayal taught you a skill a billionaire needs. You learned resilience when friends turned cold. You learned strategy when money was tight. You learned discernment when people used you. That pain didn't kill you, it carved you. It shaped you into someone who can handle success without being destroyed by it. God doesn't put billions in the hands of the immature. He waits until the weight of purpose can be carried without pride, breaking your back. And that's why it took time. That's why he let certain doors remain shut. Because if you had walked through them too early, they would have crushed you. Understand this. Your path was never meant to look like anyone else's. God put blinders on your life for a reason. He isolated you, not to punish you, but to protect the vision. You weren't meant to mimic trends or follow the crowd. You were meant to create your own lane. And creation is messy. It's lonely. It's full of setbacks. But once it's built, no one can deny its power. You're not here to impress anyone. You're here to fulfill prophecy. And part of that prophecy is wealth. Not for status, but for stewardship. You've got ideas that will feed nations, visions that will change industries, dreams that will employ people. That's billionaire energy. And it's not coming, it's already in motion. Let them talk. Let them question you. Let them doubt. None of that matters, because they're not the ones who called you. God did. And when God calls you, He doesn't consult the opinions of people. He doesn't need a vote. He gives the vision, then backs it with favor. That favor is what's been keeping you afloat when logic says you should have drowned. That favor is why you keep bouncing back. And that favor is why you're about to rise like never before. You see, most people only seek money, but you've been seeking meaning. That's what makes you different. That's what qualifies you. Because God is raising up a new kind of billionaire, one who walks with purpose, who gives more than they take, who builds legacies that touch eternity. That's who you are. That's what you're stepping into. And when it all comes together, you won't need to explain it. Your life will speak for itself. The pain had a purpose, the struggle had a schedule. And now comes the season of fulfillment. Get ready, because what's coming next will not only change your life, it will change the lives of everyone connected to you. They won't understand how you did it, how someone who came from nothing ended up with everything. But that's the beauty of divine elevation. It's not supposed to make sense to the world. See, you were chosen for this long before the money shows up in your account, before the houses and assets, before the legacy is etched into history. God already placed the oil of wealth on you. It was invisible at first, but it was there when you were broke but faithful, tired but obedient, confused but still trusting. You didn't wait until success came to act like you were chosen. You carried yourself with quiet confidence long before anyone else believed in you. That's what made heaven say, "Now they're ready." This isn't about hustle culture. This is about divine appointment. God isn't blessing you because you worked the hardest or because you're the smartest. No, He's blessing you because your heart remained pure when it could have turned bitter. He saw that you could be trusted. And that trust, that's worth more than credentials, more than capital. God is not looking for qualified minds. He's looking for qualified hearts. And yours, it's been through the fire and came out refined. People around you will say it's too much. They'll say it's unrealistic. But the calling on your life has always been bigger than logic. You were never called to live a normal life. You were never designed to settle. God placed a billionaire calling in your DNA, and every cell in your body knows it. That's why you've always felt out of place around average energy. That's why mediocrity suffocates you. You were born to build something eternal, something that echoes across generations. Not just a business, not just a brand, but a movement that turns money into ministry, influence into impact. And let's be clear, this wealth isn't just for you. You've been chosen to be a distribution center for heaven. You'll bless your family, yes, but you'll also fund visions, rescue the broken, and ignite dreams in people who had given up. That's why it's taken so long. God had to make sure your motives were aligned. And now that you're in position, everything is shifting. From this moment on, walk like you've already received it. Think like a billionaire. Talk like someone who's already changed the world. Not out of arrogance, but authority. Because God doesn't give small gifts to people with big assignments. You are about to step into rooms you once prayed for. You are about to receive contracts, connections, and clarity at a speed that can only be explained by heaven. This isn't luck, it's legacy. This isn't hype, it's history in the making. So let them watch. Let them whisper. You don't need applause to know you're anointed. Just keep showing up. Keep building. Keep sowing. Because the harvest is coming. And it's far beyond money. It's joy. It's peace. It's influence. It's purpose. God said, "You're the next billionaire." And when God speaks, everything else must bow. Get ready. Because your name is about to be mentioned in rooms your feet haven't even stepped into yet. And this time, nothing and no one will stop it. You're not just chosen. You're called to reign.